please, relax. It's just a question. I know it's a very, very controversial topic, very polarizing. I'm just asking, because I don't know, and I've been surprised by the amount of people, eminent people in the community of autism that say yes to this privately, but would never say it publicly. So let's get into it. Hi. I don't want to get killed for this video, but it's so I was just driving back to the office from dropping a synthesizer off. You probably need to know that. And I think the YouTube algorithm, I was listening to YouTube podcasts in the car, and I think the algorithm has picked up that autism is a keyword for me now, so it recommends me autism-related content. So there were two videos that I listened to, two podcasts. First one was eminent scientist, biologist, human genetics person saying that vaccines do not cause autism. He was saying there's been millions of studies and they don't feel like it does. They feel like it's genetic, and it's also a predisposition from term one, the first 2 trimesters of birth, which I've never heard before. It was a new one on me. Second podcast I listened to, equally eminent scientist, biologist, said could be vaccines cause autism. They just don't know enough to say that it categorically doesn't. So, I mean, I'm just asking a question because this was really interesting to me. I'm like, how are people supposed to, how are we supposed to get to the bottom of this if you're not allowed to talk even? It seems to me like you can't even say one thing or the other without people piling in on you. So how are we ever going to find out if there's a contributory factor or not to autism if you can't even dare talk about it? So I'm not saying one thing or the other. I'm saying I don't know, and I want to be educated, and I want you to tell me what you think in the comments and to tell me your experience and, what do you think and why do you think it? Because, I didn't used to think that it did. But then when we were pregnant with Alfie, we went to a lot of midwives in Los Angeles, and they all pretty much agreed that they do, which was shocking to me. And I was like, that's crazy. But I was surprised that all these professionals say that. And then since Alfie's diagnosis, we've been speaking to a lot of quite well-known doctors on the autism subject. Not doctors, just doctors, but also eminent people in the autism field. A lot. We've spoken to we were going to make a video series about this, but we didn't do it. We got all the footage and we decided we don't want to make a video. We don't want to, Alfie hasn't consented. We're not going to make a video about his diagnosis. But in making this series, we spoke to a lot of very, very prominent people. And it was overwhelming, the amount of people that would never say it publicly, ever, but were like, actually, I think it might. Crazy. Again, I'm not saying one or the other. I'm just asking, what do you think? I've been surprised by the amount of people. I felt like we were asking people just, they're definitely going to say no to this question, obviously, but we'll ask it anyway. Do you think vaccines cause autism? And the amount of people that were like, could be. So it's very confusing. If you're a parent of an autistic kid, it's very, not that does it even matter what causes it? That's the other question. Are you genetically predisposed to it? And does a vaccination cause you to fall further into it if you're already genetically predisposed? I just don't know. I do know that I'm autistic and so is Alfie, but I didn't have a lot of, because I didn't go to school. I would run off from school. I would go in the front door with my mum and go out the back door and come home and make music. So I missed a lot of vaccinations as a kid. But I don't know which ones I had and which ones I didn't have. And, did I miss the one that would have pushed me into, I don't know. I feel like this is very controversial and I don't want everyone to, come after me or kill me in the comments. I just am interested to know. It's going to be interesting to see in the comment section on YouTube how many people think it does and how many people think it doesn't. It's just curious. And does it even matter? I guess at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what causes it. It's not if you've already got it, but what about new generations coming through? How can we ever have a conversation even about this if people will only speak behind closed doors about it? And was say one thing privately and another thing publicly. It's crazy. This isn't Dr. Amen, by the way, before you think that. There's nothing to do this. I'm not talking about Dr. Amen. I'm talking about other people. I know that I have a long relationship with him and, we make videos together. This is not, he didn't do this, but a lot of other people that we spoke to, he didn't have an opinion either way, actually. I don't think he would be the best person to answer that. But a lot of people that are very well known in the autism community were like, could be. People that, like I say, you would never think they would say that. You'd be like, this person's definitely going to say categorically not. So yeah, I know this is a controversial video, but I was just driving home and I listened to these two podcasts back to back, and it made me think that, wow, compelling arguments on both sides. How are you supposed to make an informed decision? And on top of that, you're not allowed to talk about it in a way. So I'm not one way or the other. I want to state that. I'm just curious what you think. And what are your reasons for thinking, that way? It's interesting. It's very interesting. Yeah, I just wanted to jump on and make a video about it. So back to normal thing next week. Well, there isn't a normal thing to this channel, apart from that it's to try and make us all feel better by talking about my struggles. So back to something like that on Thursday, but I wasn't planning to do this one today. Those two podcasts back to back really made me want to make a video about this. And I hope it doesn't get taken down because I'm not doing any misinformation. I'm just asking a question. But you never know. You never know. So controversial and so polarizing. Anyway, I love you guys. If you like what I'm doing on the channel, please subscribe and put a like on the video because it really helps.